Hey ToGA brothers, it's me again, back with another video for you. Okay, so the event just ended. It actually ended a little bit ago. They're trying to run through all the people because they're expecting rain. I know. That's actually what you do when you're expecting weather, is you try to head out and take everything quick so you're not basically stranded via the rain. Some thoughts. I have ridden the Indian, I want to say the Chieftain, and I've ridden the Indian Scout, the Rogue, okay? I've ridden the Indian Scout. So, I was actually just with the sales department, and they basically said they don't make a model called the Scout Rogue anymore. It's called the Scout Sport. So, for those of you guys that are not really aware yet, along that same line, I tried the Challenger today. I actually enjoyed the way it felt. Now, the Challenger is actually kind of more similar to your Harley-Davidson Road Glide. For those of you guys that are familiar with the Harley-Davidson lineup of models. One thing I liked is that you can go through all the modes, like sport mode, eco mode, rain mode. I don't really think and don't condone you riding in the winter, but there kind of is a winter mode. Getting on the bike, it felt very ergonomically comfortable. I was able to basically kind of, for the lack of better words, feel as though I'm close to the bike, okay? And that's one of the things I look for in a bike. Now, I don't mind riding bobber style bikes, because that's kind of a riding style, and your seat is basically fitted for that, because it's, you know, it's got a bunch of springs and all that stuff. Now, having had told you that, the response was very responsive. I for the technical specifications, I don't really know how fast it was via the throttle. Now, for those of you guys that also are not too familiar, there is a electronic throttle, okay? So there really is no carburetor, there's no wire. It's all done via the controls, okay? So once you roll on it, it's kind of a quick response. I'm used to a throttle by wire, where the more it pulls, the more it opens up the flap from the carburetor, okay? So when I ride, I know where my throttle needs to be for basically my bike to start, you know, kicking its transmission into gear to get me to roll, right? If I needed to get off quick, I could put it right there and I could just roll in the throttle and go. Like they say, full send, right? I could full send it if I wanted to. Kind of a short little tidbit here. I'm passing Pacific Boulevard on Old Ox Road. This is where our old parking lot used to be while I was working for the airport. It has some memories because they no longer use it anymore, basically. Unfortunately. Don't really know why it stopped, but okay. And it's coming. Here it goes. what are some other things about the Challenger I liked? The controls. So the controls are what we call forward controls. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that it's only controlling the front of the bike. It means that where your seat is and where your typical riding style is, it's more forward of where your legs are normally supposed to fall, if you will, okay? Basically, forward control is essentially otherwise known as stretched control, right? Stretched, control placement, okay? Now, when I tell you mid controls, it means middle control placement. Am I making sense? Right? So, with that, I don't really care for mid controls. I don't really care for mids. And the Indian Chief Sport, right, had that same control. And if I was going to buy one, I would buy one that has forward controls. Now, you can buy it with that sort of thing, but you'd be doing a whole lot of modifications, and if you're going to do it to that, well, you might as well buy the Sport Scout, right? Because let me tell you something. The Sport Scout was pretty responsive, pretty good on the rider. Comfort, and style, and response, and power, all that stuff. What else? Let's see. It feels like a big bike, but when you sit on it, it feels like there's nothing. It feels like you're sitting on a couch, like a lazy boy couch. It's not a very, very big lazy boy. It's a very, think of a recliner, okay? A small little singular recliner. That's essentially what you're riding when you ride the control, okay? Yeah. Okay, so we've gone over what I liked about, one thing you should probably know is that the Challenger does not have a heel-to-toe shifter. If you guys like the heel-toe shifting type bikes, okay? I don't mind it. I actually really like it when you do that sort of thing. So I know you can adjust and buy controls for that, but if it didn't get installed, it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. So I actually really like it. You guys got to remember that my Sabre, my Honda 1100 Sabre, didn't have heel-toe shifting controls. It only had toe controls, okay? Basically, when I say heel-to-toe, there is a rocker in the middle, and there's pegs on the front and the back of the middle. Looks like a fork, right? Think of it like this, okay? Now, in the front is your upshift. In the back is your downshift, okay? And a lot of new dressed Harleys have heel-to-toe. And a matter of fact, a lot of the old ones had heel-to-toe. Wow, there's a lot of emergency equipment out right now. I don't know what this guy's deal is. It's getting a little crazy. I'm talking about the weather. They were expecting weather today, so that's why everyone is basically kind of antsy, kind of wanting to go back because they want to get out of the weather. It's funny, a tow truck driver is sitting underneath the bridge. Well, he's stopped, but he's in the truck underneath the bridge. It's 86 degrees out, by the way, for you guys. Okay, back to the video. Yeah, so the bike did not have heel-toe shifter. The bike that I currently have, it does have a heel-toe shifter, so I'm used to it, but it's not a deal breaker, right? So like if I get in a truck, okay, a pickup truck, it's going to feel and look different than if I were to get into a sport coupe car. The car is lower to the ground. A truck is higher to the ground because it's used for suspension, right? It's got a different suspension, okay? It's a different frame. Same with the car. It's different frame. It's going to feel and handle different, okay? Having said that, okay, and spoiler alert, I wasn't really a fan of the Scout Sport, okay? I mean, I liked it, but it felt like I was sitting on a scrambler, a cafe racer. I'm not a big fan of that style of bike. And that's why you do these test drives, to basically find out about how they fit, how they basically run, for the lack of being completely confidential. Basically, it's to find out how they handle, right? The torque, horsepower, braking, all that stuff. Because when you're riding, that stuff becomes important. You may not realize it, but it does. And if you're not aware, you should be. Okay, so moving on over. It took me a while for them to try it. It was getting close. It was close to 1 o'clock, unfortunately. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to try this bike. I really hope I do, because I really want to. That's the whole reason I went there, was to try the other models that I wasn't really used to. Okay, so the Indian Scout Sport had forward controls again. I hear noise that I'm not supposed to hear, so that's why I'm trying to keep quiet. Okay. Nothing I need to be concerned about. Because if I did, I would have heard it already. Alright. It's pretty much like sitting on the Chief, the Indian Chief Sport, essentially. The only difference is the controls. The handlebars feel like your typical T-bar, if you guys are familiar with the T-bar situation. Okay? On the Challenger, I'm trying to think of the names of these bikes because I'm not really familiar with the Indians lineup. The Challenger, it had more of a beach style handlebar type of control. It had a pretty significant pullback. Okay, if you guys are not aware, the rise is how high the handlebar is located, right on the fork. The pullback is where, if I was to take a metal bar, and put it on the riser where the fork is, straight up, not angled, okay, straight up, alright, the pullback, if I attach a pair of handlebars, okay, grips, right, things you grip the bike with to redo the throttle and to all the other parts, the pullback is where it is located from your body in relation to where it would be completely straight. Am I making sense? So if it was just a T up and down and a bar, right, you don't bend part of the T on the top of the T, okay, the letter T. Let's say you bend it like 15, 20 degrees. That would be a pullback. Now, imagine that slightly angled towards you, okay? The pullback is where it's in relation to that riser, that fork, okay? Now, the pullback for the Challenger was pretty aggressive, not gonna lie. The pullback for the Scout Sport, not that aggressive. In fact, it was like 10 degrees at most, 10 or 15 at most, okay? It was more like 5 or 10 at most, okay? 10 being the most aggressive. The throttle response was pretty responsive. I was able to get it up to speed a couple of times when I went and test drove it. When I did get it up to speed, it was pretty responsive, and it got up to gear. I got up to about 6th gear pretty quickly, in fact. Now, the Challenger, surprisingly, for it being a dressed bike, not a fully dressed, but a dressed bike. Now, when I say dressed, I mean saddlebags and a fairing, a front fairing, okay? A fork fairing. All these bikes have fenders that we had today, okay? Like, they have front wheel fender, a rear wheel fender, and they were pretty good, pretty nice. That's pretty much it, guys. I did not even try the Chief Sport. If I want to, I'll go try it in another day. That's in lieu of the bikes that I tried today. Now, the event. They had burgers, which were, they weren't really seasoned. They were subpar. Ugh, didn't really like them. I did have a Coke, which was Coke. So, now, moving forward, would I go back again? Absolutely. I want to try some of their other ones. Now, they have an MVA event that I don't really know the name of the company, but they're going to be bringing some pretty cool standard and touring bikes and adventure bikes and all that kind of stuff, like sports bikes. So, like, half standard bike, half sport bike. And I hope that I can be able to effectively try them, to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much how the event went today, guys. And those are my thoughts on some of them. I don't know. I don't really know if I have anything negative to say about the Challenger. Unfortunately, the demo did not allow the navigation to be used. I don't know why. So I had to use my own phone for navigation. Shame on you, BMW, and shame on you, Indian, for not doing that. When I demoed one of the bikes, I think that they just assumed I knew how to use the control. I didn't, unfortunately, and I didn't know how to get it out of sport mode. You actually have to kind of pull the little finger trigger near the brake lever, okay? Yeah. So that really wasn't all that great. But other than that, I mean, I had a terrific time. And to be honest, guys, you guys want to know the real secret? I haven't been riding in a while. I just wanted an excuse to go ride a bike. If you guys have not had wind therapy in a while, you guys should seriously go get your license and just go try it. I also can't tell you the number of times that, you know, you can also, believe it or not, you can rent a bike. Alright? There's a company called Eagle Rider. You can rent a Harley, a newer year Harley, for maybe a couple $100, depending on what you decide. If you decide to join the program, their monthly program, you can get out of there for about $100, maybe $110. All the things, all the loops, all the bells and whistles, okay? And if you don't, it's going to cost you about close to $300, $400 maybe for the same cost. So do the math. But yeah, go get your license. It's a lot of fun. Know the dangers of riding. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. But folks, there are times where I wanted to, excuse my language here, crap my pants. I did. I legit wanted to crap my pants. Okay? Unfortunately. It's part of the privilege. Remember, you don't have a right to ride them. You don't have a right to own them. You don't have a right to be on them. They're a privilege. Okay? It's like being in a sports car. You don't have a right to be in one. You don't have a right to own one. You have a privilege to own one. Okay? Same with a car. I don't know if you know this, guys, but you don't have a right to be in a set of wheels. We have feet. Some of us don't have that. We have other modes of getting around. Okay? That's how you're able to become mobile. Now, that's supposed to be a right. To be able to be mobile. Okay? But you don't have to have a set of wheels. It's a privilege. Same with owning a bike, same with being on a bike, and same with being on the road with a bike. That's what I'm getting at. You need to know it's a privilege to be on the road owning two wheels or being on two wheels. Okay? Because we don't own the road. Neither do you truck drivers and car drivers own the road. We share the road. I know I'm getting off here, but I just want to drive that home because I'm telling you to go get your license. It's a lot of fun. But I want you to also know I'm not sharing this with you because I want you to be reckless, to be dangerous, to be all, very bad-tempered and all that. Because that's not the kind of style and it's not the kind of personality that we really need to be around. Because it's going to basically kill us. I'm not going to lie, it's going to kill us. Okay? So, having had said that, I'm going to wrap up this video. I wanted to leave you guys, sharing my thoughts of the event, but more importantly, the bikes. I took a couple of pictures. I didn't take video. I wish I did, but they were forecasting rain, and I didn't want to get caught and all that, so I just said no. And I honestly didn't have a phone mount that I would be able to mount in a good place. So, yeah, next time I will definitely bring a mount for me to mount my device and show you guys. But until next time, guys, appreciate you watching. Go subscribe to my channels. You guys know the drill. If you guys need to, reach out to me and I'll help you go and I'll send it to you directly. Alright? Thank y'all so much. I'm Sean the ToGA brother. I'm out.